Captain Ren Imani gripped the armrest of his command chair, eyes scanning the swirling debris of the Oort Cloud through the reinforced viewport. The Terran fleet, a formation of gleaming hulls and pulsing energy shields, had advanced into what should have been a routine patrol. But the alien outmaneuvering was immediate, brutal and invisible. Sensors flickered erratically. Communication channels hissed and crackled as if the void itself were conspiring to confuse them. Ships were disappearing from scanners mid-flight. Pilots called out frantic reports, their voices tense but precise. Ren clenched his jaw. They can't simply vanish. This isn't luck. A ripple of unease passed through the bridge crew. It wasn't just fear. It was calculation, the same pulse Ren had learned to trust in his own instincts. Something about the battle felt wrong. The aliens weren't attacking recklessly. They were guiding the Terran fleet into a carefully constructed illusion. He leaned forward, fingers dancing across the holo console. Status on the Van Ryn squadron? A junior officer's face was pale, illuminated by the soft glow of tactical maps. Sensors indicate complete disintegration, Captain. But no wreckage has been detected. Ren's lips pressed into a thin line. Mirage drones. He didn't speak it aloud. He didn't need to. His crew already sensed the pattern. Ships were not destroyed, merely hidden behind layers of deception. Invisibility is overrated, he thought, eyes narrowing at the holographic projection showing ghost-like silhouettes of ships where none truly existed. Misdirection wins wars. The bridge hummed with tension. Every officer knew that one wrong calculation could lead to a rout, yet no one panicked. Ren's voice cut through the charged silence. Keep formation tight. Track every ghost, every shadow, and pray the sensor feeds remain reliable. A faint smirk passed across Ren's face, barely perceptible. He wasn't superstitious, but when his eyes flicked to the stars, a quiet acknowledgement stirred within him. Not luck. Someone wanted me to survive. The alien formations shifted like living currents, guiding the Terran fleet as if invisible hands were tugging at their every movement. Ships appeared to vanish. Pilots reported empty sectors. The Oort Cloud's frozen debris reflected pinpricks of starlight, highlighting the surreal emptiness where entire squadrons should have been. Ren adjusted his chair, tapping commands into the console. Countermeasures active. Deploy decoy clusters at Delta 9 coordinates. Keep the fleet moving. Every ghost is a trap, but every trap is also a lesson. The crew obeyed with precise efficiency, their trust in Ren absolute. Even in the face of the unseen, they knew human ingenuity had not yet failed. Somewhere far above, an alien vessel hummed, its crew convinced of their inevitable victory. They had watched Terran ships vanish, celebrating the apparent destruction of a fleet that never truly fell. Yet Ren remained calm, eyes sharp, mind weaving the strands of deception into a single coherent plan. He leaned back slightly, allowing the bridge lights to paint faint shadows across his determined face. This battle was no longer about survival. It was about teaching the universe a simple truth. Terrans may disappear from sight, but they never vanish from the board. We reposition. We endure. We are never truly gone. And in that silent, frozen expanse of the Oort Cloud, Captain Ren Imani prepared to prove it. The Oort Cloud stretched endlessly, a frozen graveyard of comets and ice fragments, each reflecting distant starlight in eerie brilliance. Captain Ren Imani's eyes scanned the holographic projections, tracking Terran squadrons that sensors insisted no longer existed. Ghost signatures increasing, reported Lieutenant Sarin, his voice steady but strained. All indications suggest the fleet is fragmenting, or disappearing entirely. Ren's jaw tightened. He didn't flinch. Disappearing? No. Misguided, misled, manipulated, but not gone. Across the bridge, the crew worked with precision, overlaying sensor data with predicted enemy maneuvers. Shadows danced in the holograms, ships phasing in and out like specters. The aliens had not simply attacked. They had outmaneuvered the fleet into a carefully orchestrated illusion. Every vanishing ship, every gap in formation was calculated to induce panic. Ren leaned over the console, fingers brushing holo controls. Deploy mirage countermeasures, he commanded. Track their shadows. Every disappearance is a clue, not a defeat. A ripple of tension swept through the officers. The illusions were flawless, perfectly crafted phantoms that could fool even the most advanced Terran sensors. And yet, Ren's mind worked through the layers. unweaving deception with the patience of a master strategist. Every trick has a weakness. He studied the flickering sensor feeds, noting patterns no one else had yet detected. Ghosts moved in arcs, subtle loops, revealing faint irregularities in timing and energy signatures. Ren's eyes flicked to a star cluster beyond the viewport. Not luck. Someone wanted me to survive, he whispered, a quiet nod to the divine spark that had guided him through countless battles. The alien formations, confident and unaware, shifted in triumph. Their strategy seemed flawless. Ships that shouldn't exist appeared to vanish entire squadrons. Pilots reported corridors of empty space where allies had been. Victory appeared inevitable, yet Ren remained poised, calm, observant. We will not yield to shadows. He tapped commands, and the Terran fleet responded with quiet efficiency. Decoy drones flickered into existence, creating false flanks to mislead enemy sensors. Formation shifts were subtle, barely perceptible but calculated to exploit every flaw in the alien mirage network. Lieutenant Saren glanced at Ren. Captain, they think we're retreating. Ren's lips curved slightly. Good, let them celebrate. Victory can be an illusion, and illusions can be shattered. A distant hum resonated across the fleet, the first sign of the coming counter. Ren studied the projections again, tracing the invisible threads of the enemy's confidence, mapping weaknesses in their overreach. Every shadow, every ghost, every phantom disappearance was another step closer to turning the tide. They may control what we see, but we control what they do not anticipate. And so in the frozen reaches of the Oort Cloud, the Terran fleet drifted like ghosts themselves, unseen, unheard, preparing to teach the aliens that disappearance is not surrender, and cunning is a weapon stronger than sheer force. The Oort Cloud was alive with deception. Ice fragments drifted silently, reflecting starlight as if mocking the Terran fleet's plight. Captain Ren Imani's eyes scanned the holographic tactical map, noting the positions of both real and phantom ships. The aliens had thought they controlled the board, but Ren was ready to turn their illusion into a trap. Deploy mirage drones, Ren ordered, voice calm yet resolute. Activate silent displacement fields. Let every ghost become a weapon. The bridge buzzed with precise activity. Engineers initiated the holographic decoys, clusters of unmanned drones flickering into existence, indistinguishable from the fleet itself. Sensors across the formation transmitted the illusion outward, ships vanishing and reappearing in carefully choreographed patterns. Lieutenant Saren's eyes widened. Captain, the aliens. They're tracking the phantoms as if they're real. Ren allowed a faint, controlled smile. Exactly. Every probe, every misstep is feeding them data they don't understand. They're learning our patterns, our deception, and unknowingly walking into our strategy. He studied the projections. Energy signatures, flight arcs, and vanishing ships formed a complex web, invisible to the naked eye but crystal clear to the Terran tactical mind. Ren tapped the console, adjusting drone paths with the precision of a conductor guiding an orchestra. Every movement was deliberate, each shift calculated to maintain the perfect balance of fear and false vulnerability. A distant alien vessel moved confidently into the zone where Terran squadrons had supposedly vanished. Its crew, certain of victory, did not see the invisible threads guiding them. To them, the fleet was disappearing. To Ren, they were merely stepping into the trap. The illusion is not just defense, it is offense. He glanced briefly at the stars beyond the viewport, the faint glimmer of distant suns reminding him of the fragile yet indomitable nature of human courage. Not luck. Someone wanted me to survive, he whispered again, letting the quiet affirmation guide his tactical decisions. The fleet responded flawlessly. Pilots followed Ren's commands with precision, weaving through the mirage drone formations as if performing a ballet in the void. Every alien scan returned data. Every calculation revealed a perceived vulnerability, but none led to real damage. The Terran fleet was a ghostly phantom, untouchable yet fully present. Ren's gaze narrowed, mind mapping the next sequence. Prepare for Phase 2. Once they commit to the illusion, we'll show them what disappearing really means. The alien vessels, confident and unaware, moved like chess pieces into positions carefully predicted by Ren's tactical genius. Each thought they were gaining advantage, but in reality, they were being drawn into the Terran web of shadows. Invisibility is overrated, Ren reflected internally. Cunning, misdirection, patience. These are weapons the universe cannot anticipate. And so amidst the frozen, glimmering debris of the Oort Cloud, the Terran fleet danced unseen. Mirage drones flickered like phantoms. Ghost ships drifted silently, and Captain Ren Imani prepared to turn the tide of the battle, teaching the aliens a lesson in human ingenuity, resilience, and the power of strategy unseen. The Oort Cloud was no longer just a battlefield, it had become a stage for illusion. Captain Ren Imani watched as the alien vessels reacted to the Terran mirage drones. Sensors indicated erratic maneuvers, sharp course corrections, and sudden halts. The aliens believed they were closing in on vanishing targets, but in truth, they were stepping into a trap of their own making. "Captain," Lieutenant Saren called, tension in his voice. "They're changing formation. Sensors suggest confusion in their command network." Ren's eyes glinted with a mixture of satisfaction and calm focus. "Good. Let them think they control the fight. Every ripple of confusion strengthens our advantage." Across the bridge, engineers and tactical officers worked in synchronized precision. Holographic displays projected the ghostly fleet and phantom drones, each movement carefully calculated to manipulate alien perception. Energy readings, flight paths, and sensor distortions created layers of deception too subtle for the enemy to unravel in real time. Ren leaned back in his chair, fingers lightly tapping the console. His mind traced every possibility, every potential error, every decision the aliens could make in response. They assume we react to them. In reality, we orchestrate every move. A faint pulse on the sensor grid caught his attention. One of the alien squadrons had accelerated toward a perceived breach in the Terran line, an intentional illusion created by the mirage drones. Ren's smirk was barely visible under the bridge's soft lighting. "Phase 2 begins," he murmured. Not far from the viewport, streaks of icy debris reflected starlight like scattered diamonds, casting fragmented shadows across the bridge. Ren's gaze followed them, a quiet reminder of both the vastness of space and the fragility of life within it. "Not luck. Someone wanted me to survive." The alien formations wavered. Miscommunication and conflicting signals rippled through their network. Their confidence began to falter. Every sudden maneuver, every halt in advance revealed their over-reliance on what they could perceive rather than what they should anticipate. Ren tapped another sequence into the console. "Expand phantom clusters. Maintain the illusion of vulnerability. Prepare for engagement when they commit fully." The bridge crew nodded, silent but alert. The Terran fleet moved like ghosts in the void, unseen, untouchable, yet omnipresent. Each alien decision was being guided subtly, unseen threads leading them into positions Ren had calculated minutes earlier. The aliens, unaware that their perceived victories were orchestrated, sent signals of triumph across the void. They believed the Terran fleet was breaking, yet every ship remained in formation, every squadron intact, every life preserved. Deception is strength. Patience is power. Cunning is survival. And as the stars stretched endlessly beyond the orbital debris, Captain Ren Imani prepared to reveal the next phase of his strategy. The Terran fleet was not retreating. It was positioning, invisible yet dominant, ready to strike where the aliens least expected, teaching once again that disappearance does not equal defeat. The Oort Cloud seemed to shift with every maneuver, ice fragments catching the glimmer of distant stars, turning the battlefield into a surreal mosaic of light and shadow. Captain Ren Imani's eyes followed the holographic displays, tracking both real squadrons and mirage drones with meticulous precision. The aliens had grown overconfident, and now the Terran fleet was ready to exploit that hubris. "Deploy coordinated strikes," Ren commanded, voice calm yet authoritative. "Make them believe the phantoms are real. Every misstep becomes our advantage." Lieutenant Saren activated the phantom squadrons. They flickered in and out of visibility, weaving between the real ships, projecting energy signatures indistinguishable from the fleet itself. Sensors aboard the alien vessels began to register attacks from positions that did not exist. Every phantom strike forced enemy maneuvers, spreading confusion deeper into their ranks. Ren's fingers danced over the hollow console. "Adjust trajectories. Lead them into the Delta Quadrant. Maintain formation integrity. Every ghost we deploy is a trap. Every illusion a calculated push." The alien vessels reacted instantly. repositioning to intercept perceived threats. Each decision was predicated on false information, each movement tightening the net that Ren had woven. The human ingenuity embedded in the mirage drones turned the battlefield into a living chessboard, every move a lesson in patience and strategy. Ren glanced at the stars beyond the viewport. Their distant light reminded him of the fragility and brilliance of human life in the vast unknown. Not luck. Someone wanted us to survive, he whispered, allowing the quiet affirmation to steady his mind and focus his tactical reasoning. Energy beams streaked across the void, striking at phantom targets. Alien sensors screamed with conflicting data, interpreting harmless mirages as real threats. Real Terran ships moved unseen through the shadows, preserving life while the enemy fought illusions. Every crew member on the bridge worked in seamless coordination, trusting Ren's strategy and their own training. The orchestration was precise, elegant, and deadly. The aliens had been taught a lesson in humility by a force they could not see. Human creativity and courage, boundless even in the face of overwhelming odds. Ren's eyes narrowed as he monitored the alien command carrier. Soon they will celebrate what they think is victory. Prepare for Phase 3, he instructed softly. When they commit fully to the illusion, we will show them reality, and it will be ours to command. The Oort Cloud, frozen and silent to the untrained eye, was alive with human ingenuity. Ghost ships flickered in orchestrated patterns. Real squadrons held position, and the aliens, blind to the full extent of Terran cunning, were being maneuvered into their first true miscalculation. In the endless cold of space, Captain Ren Imani proved once again that the human spirit did not simply survive. It adapted, outwitted, and prevailed. The Oort Cloud stretched endlessly, a frozen expanse where stars pierced the darkness like distant candles. Captain Ren Imani's eyes remained fixed on the holographic displays, tracking every alien maneuver and every phantom squadron's trajectory. The subtle counterattacks had begun to sow confusion, and now the first signs of enemy realization appeared. Captain, Lieutenant Saren said, voice tight with anticipation. They're recalculating. Sensor anomalies indicate hesitation in the command carrier's directives. Ren's jaw tightened. Perfect. They're beginning to see the cracks, but not yet enough to adapt. He leaned forward, hands hovering over the holo console. Maintain the mirage clusters. Keep them chasing shadows. Every second they hesitate is an advantage we hold. A faint ripple of tension passed through the bridge crew, a mixture of excitement and restraint. The Terran fleet moved as one, a disciplined and invisible force. Each phantom strike, each carefully timed illusion forced the alien vessels to second-guess themselves. The more the enemy struggled, the more the Terran strategy revealed its brilliance. Ren allowed his gaze to drift to the stars beyond the viewport. A faint glimmer of distant light reflected in his eyes, reminding him of human fragility and resilience. Not luck. Someone wanted me to survive, he murmured softly, grounding his focus on both the tactical and the spiritual. The aliens faltered. Hesitation spread through their ranks like a virus. Squadrons shifted indecisively, energy beams misfired, and formations wavered. The command carrier attempted to issue corrections, but each adjustment only deepened their confusion, forcing them further into Ren's invisible web. Adjust phantom trajectories by 2 degrees starboard, Ren ordered, his voice calm but precise. Make them believe the breach is real. Lead them exactly where we want. Lieutenant Saren's fingers moved swiftly over the controls, executing Ren's commands flawlessly. The mirage drones responded, flickering and weaving, forming deceptive corridors in space. Alien ships followed blindly, compelled by false signals and overconfidence. Ren studied the unfolding chaos, a subtle smirk crossing his face. The aliens believed they were gaining the upper hand, but in truth they were being drawn ever closer to a decisive mistake. Every hesitation, every misjudged calculation was another thread in the net that would soon close around them. They think they see reality, but reality is ours to command. In the cold, endless void, Captain Ren Imani remained the calm center of a storm. Every crew member on the bridge trusted him implicitly, every strategy executed flawlessly, and the aliens, brilliant as they were, remained blind to the true strength of humanity. Cunning, courage, and the indomitable will to survive. The Oort Cloud was a labyrinth of ice and shadow, illuminated by distant starlight and the faint glow of energy shields. Captain Ren Imani's eyes scanned the holographic tactical displays, noting every alien maneuver, every flicker of hesitation, every phantom fleet projection. The aliens had taken the bait. The illusion was complete. "They're committing fully," Lieutenant Saren said, a trace of awe in his voice. "All sensors indicate movement towards the phantom breaches." Ren's lips curved in a calm, controlled smile. "Perfect. They've walked straight into the web." He leaned forward, hands on the hollow console, tracing alien flight paths like a master strategist playing a complex game of chess. "Initiate Phase 3. Prepare the fleet for engagement at Delta 6 coordinates. Maintain mirage coverage until then. We strike from the shadows, unseen until the moment of revelation." The bridge hummed with focused activity. Phantom drones flickered and weaved, creating ghostly corridors of light and shadow. Real Terran squadrons glided through the hidden pathways, undetected by alien sensors. Every ship was in position, every pilot executing commands with precision born of training and trust. Ren allowed his gaze to drift to the stars. Beyond the frozen debris of the Oort Cloud, distant suns shimmered like candles in the void. He whispered softly, almost to himself, "Not luck. Someone wanted me to survive," letting the quiet acknowledgement of divine guidance steady his mind amidst the calculated chaos. Alien vessels moved confidently toward their perceived victory, drawn into the mirage like moths to a flame. Their energy beams cut across empty corridors, striking phantoms that flickered and vanished before impact. Their command networks strained under conflicting signals, hesitation spreading like a contagion among the fleet. Ren's voice was calm, precise. "All units, hold your fire until I give the signal. Patience wins battles invisible to the reckless eye." A faint pulse ran through the Terran formation as the mirage drones synchronized perfectly with real fleet positions. Alien sensors misread every movement, every shift, interpreting threats where none existed and overlooking the reality they could not see. The Oort Cloud itself seemed to hold its breath. For every phantom strike the aliens reacted to, every maneuver they executed only tightened the trap around them. The Terran fleet, calm, patient, and unseen, prepared for the moment when the true strike would reveal humanity's ingenuity and resilience. They believe in the illusion, but reality is ours to command. And so, in the frozen expanse of the Oort Cloud, the Terran fleet lay in silent, unseen dominance. Captain Ren Imani, at the center of the command, prepared for the final act, the moment when shadows would give way to revelation, and the aliens would learn the true power of human cunning, courage, and unyielding will. The Oort Cloud had become a frozen stage, where light and shadow danced in deceptive harmony. Captain Ren Imani's gaze never left the holographic displays. Every alien maneuver, every reaction to the mirage drones had been anticipated. Now the time for patience had ended. "Phase 3 is live," Ren announced, voice calm yet commanding. "Strike when they commit fully. Remember, only real ships engage. Mirage units maintain their pattern, no deviation." The bridge erupted into precise, focused motion. Pilots gripped controls with quiet determination, executing commands with the seamless efficiency of a fleet that had learned to trust both strategy and each other. Mirage drones flickered and weaved, sustaining the illusion, while real squadrons glided silently into positions unseen. Lieutenant Saren pointed at the alien command carrier on the display. "Captain, they're fully engaged with the phantoms, shields diverting to ghost signatures. Their focus is fractured." Ren's eyes narrowed. "Exactly where I want them." He adjusted the trajectory for the real strike units, timing their movement to intersect the alien command vessel's blind spot. Every microsecond mattered. Every misread by the enemy increased the odds of a decisive hit. Beyond the viewport, icy debris drifted silently, reflecting faint starlight, emphasizing the isolation and danger of the battlefield. Ren's lips moved slightly as he murmured, "Not luck. Someone wanted us to survive," grounding his resolve in both tactical mastery and quiet faith. The alien vessels faltered, their confidence once unwavering now cracked under the strain of conflicting sensor data and invisible Terran maneuvers. One by one, energy beams misaligned, formations wavered, and panic subtly crept into the command structure. Ren's voice was firm. "Engage now. Strike only when in perfect alignment." The fleet obeyed like a single cohesive entity. In the shadow of the mirage drones, the Terran ship struck, brief, precise, and devastatingly effective. Alien vessels misjudged distance and trajectory, their attacks faltering. The aliens, convinced of their control, now found themselves reacting, never initiating. Each phantom and every real Terran move was a thread in Ren's carefully woven net. The Oort Cloud itself seemed to pulse with the rhythm of human ingenuity, subtle, deliberate, unstoppable. They think they are winning, but they have already lost the advantage. Captain Ren Imani watched, calm and resolute, as the first signs of alien disarray spread across the holographic map. The Terran fleet, unseen but fully present, had begun to turn the tide of battle, not through raw force but through patience, cunning, and flawless execution. And in the cold, silent void of the Oort Cloud, humanity's unseen strike whispered a simple truth. Cleverness, courage, and resolve are weapons that the universe cannot ignore. The Oort Cloud was no longer merely a battlefield, it had become a theater of strategic brilliance. Captain Ren Imani's eyes scanned the holographic display as the alien forces began to comprehend the trap they had blindly walked into. Lieutenant Saren's voice trembled slightly. "Captain, their formations are breaking down. Command signals are conflicting, they're panicking." Ren's expression remained calm, his mind mapping every unfolding event with precision. "Good. Let them realize too late that they have been outmaneuvered." Phantom drones and real Terran squadrons moved in perfect harmony. Alien sensors flared with false alerts while real ships advanced unseen, positioning for the decisive strike. Every miscalculation the enemy made fed into Ren's strategy, weaving chaos where they had expected control. "Maintain formation integrity," Ren instructed softly, "and synchronize all units for the final phase. They must never see us coming until it's too late." Energy beams misfired, alien squadrons collided, and communication signals overloaded with conflicting data. Their confidence, once absolute, had been shattered by invisible threads of deception. The aliens' own perception was betraying them. Ren's gaze lifted to the stars beyond the viewport, distant suns glimmering like silent witnesses. "Not luck. Someone wanted us to survive," he whispered, letting the quiet affirmation of guidance steal his mind. Across the bridge, the crew worked in seamless coordination, eyes sharp, movements precise. Every decision they had made, every calculated misdirection had led to this moment. The aliens were caught in a labyrinth of their own making, responding to threats that did not exist while real Terran units advanced unobserved. Ren tapped commands into the console. "Prepare the Atlas-Class Dreadnought for deployment. Phase 4 begins the moment they are fully committed." A shiver of anticipation ran through the bridge. The aliens, once smug and confident, were now unraveling. Their formations were fragmented, their shields misaligned, and their energy volleys scattered. Each reaction only confirmed Ren's brilliance, each misstep a testament to human cunning. They believed victory was within reach. But reality is ours to command. In the vast, frozen expanse of the Oort Cloud, Captain Ren Imani prepared to reveal humanity's ultimate counter, a force so precise, so overwhelming, that the aliens would learn in an instant that misdirection, patience, and ingenuity are powers that no enemy can truly overcome. The Oort Cloud shimmered with fractured starlight, the aftermath of illusions and misdirection scattered across its frozen expanse. Captain Ren Imani's eyes remained fixed on the holographic display. The aliens, now fully committed to the phantom attacks, had exposed the weakness Ren had patiently orchestrated. "Atlas-Class Dreadnought, deploy," Ren ordered, his voice calm yet charged with authority. Across the bridge, crew members executed the command with precision. In the silence of space, the massive dreadnought slipped from cloaking protocols, its sleek hull materializing like a shadow turning into a spear. Energy thrusters flared softly, illuminating the surrounding debris, and for the first time the aliens could truly see the force they had underestimated. Lieutenant Saren's eyes widened. "Captain, it's behind their command carrier. They haven't detected it yet." Ren's gaze was steady, unwavering. Timing is everything. He tapped a series of inputs into the console, and the dreadnought moved with silent purpose, closing the distance to the alien flagship. Every system primed, every crew member aware of their role in the imminent strike. The alien command carrier transmitted signals in confusion, The crew's finally realizing the Terran fleet's presence, real ships, not phantoms, not illusions. Energy shields flared and defensive patterns shifted, but it was too late. The Dreadnought was already in position, hidden in plain sight until the decisive moment. Ren's lips moved slightly, almost inaudible. Not luck. Someone wanted us to survive, he murmured, letting the quiet affirmation of divine guidance anchor him, even in the tension of absolute precision. The holographic display showed the alien fleet attempting desperate maneuvers. Retreating from phantoms they still misread as threats, while the Dreadnought remained perfectly aligned for its strike. The moment of revelation was close, and the bridge hummed with anticipation, every officer aware that human ingenuity had finally reached its crescendo. Ren's voice rang clear, steady, and commanding. Hold fire until the carrier's shields are fully diverted. Then engage. Time seemed to stretch across the frozen void. Energy pulses flared, shields flickered, and the aliens realized their miscalculation too late. The Terran fleet had not merely survived, they had positioned for absolute dominance. They thought invisibility meant victory. But preparation, patience, and cunning reveal the true power of humanity. In the endless silence of the Oort Cloud, Captain Ren Imani and the Terran fleet demonstrated that courage, intellect, and unwavering resolve could turn illusion into triumph, setting the stage for the final confrontation where the alien threat would be decisively humbled. The Oort Cloud stretched silently, a frozen expanse now scarred with the after-effects of the Terran fleet's cunning. Captain Ren Imani's eyes scanned the holographic display, noting the alien formations faltering under the combined weight of misdirection and precise strike. They're breaking apart. Captain, Lieutenant Saren reported, awe and relief mixing in his voice. Command signals are collapsing, shields are diverting, and they're retreating. Ren's lips curved in a calm, satisfied smile. Not luck, someone wanted us to survive. He allowed himself a brief glance at the stars beyond the viewport, a silent acknowledgement of guidance that had carried him through the trial. The Atlas-Class Dreadnought remained in position, its presence a silent sentinel behind the alien command carrier. Phantom squadrons continued their dance, weaving through frozen debris and mirrored starlight, while real Terran ships executed the final maneuvers with flawless precision. The alien fleet, once confident and commanding, was now fragmented, misaligned, and utterly disoriented. Their attempts to recover were met with unseen countermeasures. Every move anticipated, every escape path predicted. Humanity's ingenuity had rewritten the rules of engagement in the vacuum of space. Ren's voice, calm but resolute, broke the quiet on the bridge. All units maintain defensive posture. Monitor retreat paths. Ensure no stragglers escape. The lesson must be complete. Energy pulses flared as alien vessels attempted evasive maneuvers, but each one was intercepted or diverted, guided by the Terran fleet's invisible hand. The illusions had become reality. The phantoms had led the enemy into their undoing. For a moment, the bridge was silent except for the hum of systems and the quiet, steady breathing of the crew. Ren allowed himself a deep breath. The tension, the fear, the uncertainty, all transformed into victory. Report status on casualties, he said. Lieutenant Serene shook his head with a faint smile. Minimal losses, Captain. Entire fleet intact. Ren nodded, feeling the weight of both responsibility and triumph. The battle was over, but the lesson endured. Humans do not merely survive, they adapt, they deceive, and they overcome. Every act of courage, every thread of ingenuity, had turned near defeat into an unassailable victory. As the alien fleet limped into retreat, scattered and broken, Ren gazed again at the stars. He whispered softly, a quiet testament to faith and resolve. Not luck. Someone wanted us to survive. The Terran fleet, victorious and unseen until the last moment, drifted among the icy debris of the Oort Cloud. Humanity's will had prevailed, not through brute force alone, but through cunning, courage, and unshakable resolve. In the vast, indifferent cosmos, the lesson was clear. When humans face the unknown, ingenuity and determination are forces no enemy can outmatch. And Captain Ren Imani, at the heart of it all, remained the calm eye in the storm, the embodiment of human spirit, and the universe had witnessed it.